It's me. So, a couple days ago, I was working on a track. I was working on an Ableton, actually, this kind of trappy thing. And I wrote this really cool lead, and I was trying to come up with ways to introduce it into the song. And I came up with this really cool, trippy reverb effect. It's probably not new, but it's new to me, and I thought it sounded really cool. So I wanted to show you guys. So I'm going to open up Ableton. I'm going to show you the track. You've been hearing it playing in the background, but I'm going to show you the track in Ableton, show you how I did it in Ableton, but don't worry. I'm going to then open up Reason and show you how to recreate it in Reason. So yeah, let's get to it. Real quick, if you are new to this channel or if you just haven't gotten the chance yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the hit the notification thing, hit the little bell thingy, and subscribe. Okay, just subscribe because you need it. Okay, so here's the track in Ableton. It's this lead right here. Boop. And it's the way it comes in here. Let me just play you the lead so you kind of familiarize yourself with what you're listening for. Turn this off, and this off. Okay, so that's how it goes. But if you hear it in context, that's how that goes, and then we do one of these. Okay. Oops, gotta unsolo it. Sorry, I just had to hear some of that bass line. That's a fun one. So if you hear it, it kind of does this spacey, ethereal, floating above your head, but also underwater type thing. And in this case, I'm using it to introduce the lead, but I don't play the lead at this part. And you barely notice it's there, especially if you've never heard it before. If this is the first time you heard the song or you're not looking for it, but it's there too. So it's I don't know, I thought it was really cool. And then later on, I end up using a similar effect to bring the lead in this section. It's full on there. Anyway, you get the idea. So, just making sure I wasn't clipping. So let me show you how I make something like this. The key element here is reverb. Big, dark reverb. So grab a reverb. You can even look through your presets for like cave or cathedral or something like that. And then you gotta automate. You want to, and then you want to automate that reverb to go from wet to dry. So in this case, and I'll turn off these other. There's more to it than that, but for the most part, it's the fact that this knob is going from wet to dry. And that's this automation line here. So conceptually, makes sense, right? Reverbs add space, they add depth. So you're basically pushing it as deep and as far back as it goes and pulling it forward in the mix over time. The other thing that really helps smooth out the transition or make it sound spicier is yeah, spicier. Is some low pass and high pass automation. So here's the high pass frequency automation. It's going from high pass, so basically from high frequency, it's letting over time, letting in some low frequency, letting in all the low frequencies. So that's here. So if you look, it's filtering down. That adds to it being further away. Although, not further away actually, because I feel like you'd hear more of the low frequencies. Anyway, that adds to the effect, having it go from high frequencies and fade into low frequencies. It's drifting into existence. Over-explain that one. And then there's also a low pass doing the opposite. So it's got this kind of frequency-wise, it's fading into the middle, and then spatially, and in the stereo field, it's fading from the back towards the front. And yeah, it sounds cool. So, and then the last thing, this is just to ease the transition out. There's a ping pong delay that comes in here, just to add some echoes as it's going out. Done. So then we'll do a quick before and after. Actually, let me group these really quick. These three, group, off. Okay. In context. Okay, and now spaced out. I don't know if it does that to you, but it totally makes me even move different. Like that one. So let's flip over to Reason really quick so I can show you how to do something like this in Reason. Okay, so here we are with the same track in Reason, and I just bounced it out of Ableton. This is the track without the lead, and this is just the lead here. Okay, so together. Okay, so let's get to making this lead all spacey. So the first ingredient, the key ingredient, as we know, is reverb. So let's grab this bad boy. And then I have the impulse responses here. Let's see if there's a cave. Boom, long damp cave, perfect. We want to automate the dry wet to go from full wet to dry, of course. To make an automation lane, hold Option or Alt, and then click on it. There you go. Alt click. I like my automation lanes to be that color. And then do a little housekeeping just to show you how I keep things straight. So this is lead reverb. Cool. And we're automating the dry wet. It says that here. But I also like to add, well, we'll get there. So first thing, we're going from low to high. So the way I write automation, depending on what's going on, but in this case, I'm just going to write 1 bar or one, whatever this is, half a bar of automation because I just know it's high to low, actually, sorry. When you're writing automation in Reason, if you forget kind of where the parameter like starts, you know, am I going low to high? Am I going high to low? This line right here that moves tells you like the default position of the parameter, which is unique to Reason. So it's kind of like, this is where the knob is when you're not doing anything, when you're not automating me. And then when you start automating, it jumps to wherever you're automating. And then when it stops the automation pass, the automation region boundary, at the end, it jumps right back to that default position. So that's actually really handy the way that works, because you have more options. I did that wrong because I'm talking. You have more options on how you handle automation. I think we'll end up going over a few of them in this tutorial. Anyway, so I just made a short little up to down, and then I'm just going to time stretch it by holding Option and dragging. I make automation like that a lot because sometimes it's just annoying when it's like a long region and you only need to make like 2 points. But anyway, and then I tend to make a label for my automation as well. So lead reverb. Dry, wet. Just because a lot of the times one instrument will have a lot of different knobs turning, a lot of different automation regions. So this is one way to keep them straight. The easiest way to keep them straight. Okay. So already we should be getting pretty spicy. So that first note is still too present, which is why I ended up adding a high pass on the first one. This is probably how the process worked in order. It's like, oh, there's too much of that first note, so let me high pass it and then high pass it in. So I actually am going to use this patch I made, drawing blanks. There we go. Just hold shift so it doesn't auto route. This is a filter. I'm just using the third filter and I'm running audio through the third filter of a Thor. I can explain it to you if you want me to. Just hit those comments. So we're going out from the reverb into the Thor. Reason does not have... The reason I made this is because Reason doesn't have a high pass that's dedicated, which is crazy. There's the ones in the channel faders, but they don't go crazy high. And then there's the one in the pulverizer, but then you got a load of pulverizer. This is easier. So we are using a high pass. We switch this to high pass. And we're going to go from high pass down. So let's just get the next thing I like to do when I'm setting up automation is to kind of play it, find my first frequency. So somewhere there. So the automation will start from there and work its way down. So now I'm going to alt click. So we can get rid of this lane. This needs to turn gray. Graphite, sorry. And this needs a name change. So this is lead high pass. And it goes from where it is, see, indicated by this line that's moving, but let me Command Z to get rid of what I just did, but it's going from where it is to the bottom. I don't know why it always does that, but anyway, then I hold Option to make that long. Boom. Okay, so that's nice. Then I'd like to take the whole thing and low pass it in too, to add to that murkiness. Yeah, That's the word, murkiness. So, hold on, let me move my mic here. Okay, so I'll add another filter, hold shift. If you want to look at the routing real quick, this is the routing to make one of these. Turn all these off, turn this off, polyphony down to 0, 0, just so that none of this is eating CPU. Then you turn this filter on, state variable, so that you have all the options. Do this routing here. Bam, bam. And then you're able to just route it up. I could go into, like I said, I could go into more detail if you want. Just let me know. So this is going now into the low pass filter so that the whole signal will get low passed in as well to add to the, I don't know, depth of the effect. Cool. So this needs a name change. We'll take that off. Copy that. Put it to low pass. Boom. It is set to low pass. This is the knob we're going to automate. Let's hit play. So it's going to come from here and come up. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of resonance just for flavor. Okay. So option click. We've got a little bit more cleaning up to do. Get rid of that. Boom. That's going from where it is the other way. Whoops. We can just change that by doing this. Whoop. Then bam. And then bam. Held option there, remember, to time stretch it. We want to add label. This label. But it's the frequency. Bam. So now, give it a little bit more volume. And then the last thing that I just heard is how abruptly it ends. So that's where that ping pong delay came in Ableton. So let's add one here. We'll just add an echo because it has a dry wet knob on it. I held shift. I don't know why. It's just habit now. But we want something like this and this. As my chains get longer and longer, I just opt towards hitting shift and routing them myself because it screws it up sometimes, especially if there's like a line mixer or something in there. It always tries to attach things to the send. Anyway, you get it. So I'll throw some feedback up. We want a quarter delay. Nope, going the wrong way. There we go. We want it to ping pong. And we're going to go from dry to somewhere. Let's find out where we're going. Well, last time we wanted to find our starting point. This time we want to find our destination and automate from there. So when you're automating, think about which way you want to do that. It makes it faster to pick your target sometimes and then automate towards it. And then sometimes it makes sense to pick your starting point and automate away from it. Usually if you're going from your automation to 0 or 100, obviously start at the more complicated at the more complicated value. Yeah, you get it. I hope you get it. Yeah, but you'll figure out your own ways to make automation quick, but that's a really good one. Okay. Housekeeping, lead, echo, cool. This turns graphite. Now we want it to go from dry to where? Oh yeah, we didn't decide yet. So we can do that from here by turning the knob with this. So actually we want to start from about here. The other thing that's happening that's making this abrupt, and this is great teaching moment. We have two options. You see how the automation of the reverb is going from full wet to full dry. But then at the end of this region, it's actually jumping back up to full wet. So we can extend the automation so that it stays down until well after the decay. That's the fastest option in this case. Or the other option is to change the default behavior to be down here. Actually, they're equally as fast in this case. So for the reverb, that's what I'm gonna do. I want it to be dry all the time because, you know, this lead comes in later. I don't want that reverb messing it up. So yeah, I want it to be dry all the time unless I'm doing something with it. Now in this case, this high pass is going from high to low, but then it's jumping back high again. I don't want that. So, and that's a product of us finding the frequency first and then writing the automation. You just got to remember to do this step, but it saves you the time. I don't know if you've ever, like if you were going to set this up, had to set your playhead here, hit play. No, that's too high. And then you got to move it. No, that's too low. You know what I mean? It saves you doing that 5 or 6 or 7, 10, 12 times. If you just kind of dial it, then start writing. Anyway, I think I've made that point. And then same with this one. We want it to stay up. And then this dry wet, we're going to find its spot. That's pretty good. Low pass comes in. This can actually be like this a little bit. High pass does its thing. This can also be a little bit like that. So there you go. There, I turned it up to really exaggerate it for you. But that's it. That's the effect. And that's a little bit on automation as well. And you got a little look at how you can use that third filter in Thor as a filter. I like it. It's quick as a filter. Yeah. So if you found this video to be helpful, please consider subscribing. If you found it to be helpful, definitely hit that thumbs up. It's just right there. Just tap it. Also hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell notification so you don't miss any videos. I really do appreciate you watching these videos, and I appreciate all your comments. These are fun, and I hope this helps you make beautiful music out there, and I will see you guys soon.